Welcome, everyone, to another. I saw you do the jazz hands. It's like that guy gets it.
I got the golden ticket tonight.
That's right. I have fun with that one. That one's called Scrumdiddlyumptious by Pogo. And for those who don't know what Pogo is, or who Pogo is, there's a link to the description to his channel on YouTube. So if you want to see more of his stuff, it's there. But anyway, my name is DaraMuth, or Dara for short, because as I had to describe my guest earlier, people like to call me the wrong name, and it's not even in bed. All right, and that's a problem. All right, if you're gonna do it right, you better do it right the first time. It's like we're all past first grade, everyone. Did we not read a dictionary at one point?
No second chances.
No, no rewrites, no second chances. Oh goodness.
Do it live. We'll do it live.
That's right. Amen to that. You're kind of, I don't know if it's my internet, but you're kind of lagging a bit. So it might be me. I don't know. Because I was like, your mouth. No, you're fine. It was like your mouth was moving, and then it was like, it's sort of like the Japanese movies, like, and then you're like, and I will get you next. Oh. I can hear him with my mind. I can hear him. He is saying he wants two hot tacos and a Coke. He said a Coke. Diet Coke, you idiot. Diet Coke. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I get to have on the look, man. You got two names. You got Amarillion, which I don't know how that one comes about, and then you got A.D. Ellis. Like you got some book you're coming up. So which is it?
Well, Amarillion is actually my DJ name after I got banned on Twitter with using A.D. Ellis 24. For simply saying that an Arizona governor candidate a few years ago, when she declared herself the winner, the girl who was going against Carrie Lake, and I made a comment that when she called herself the winner super early on, that she was a cunt, and I got banned off Twitter, and so I made a new Twitter and went by my DJ name. So,
you're a DJ?
I do. I used to DJ. I don't do it as much anymore. I don't do it as much anymore. But now I'm kind of the guy who supplies all my DJ friends with the music. So.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Now I know a DJ now. I know a DJ. I am now connected. I'm connected with so many people. I feel like I got an actor in one hand. I've got a computer people in another. I'm building up the base. It's like a mountain. I'm just building up from the ground.
you got the Avengers of Degenerates. The Avengers of Degenerates.
Get him now. Nah, I wouldn't do that. But no, that's pretty awesome though, because I can't imagine like did you do everything, like birthday parties, weddings, all that stuff?
I more defer to my buddy who is much better at doing the weddings side. So I more played restaurants and kind of side gigs like that, and then played parties and friends stuff like that on the sides. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it was less of a professional thing. It was more of just doing it for fun, and frankly, it is, if we're called mixing or DJing an instrument, it's the easiest instrument in the world to learn. If you can count to 4, and you have about 3 weeks or 4 weeks in your life, you can learn how to DJ. It's that easy.
Okay, hold on. It's 1. It's 2. And I think there's a 3.
No, you're still off. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Man, I knew my counting was off. Gosh dang it! Those public schools. I never went to a public school, but that's usually not so. Yeah, not so fast. Hold on. I almost got it. I can't keep up. Yeah, that's that's you right there. I can't keep up. What was it, like 1,026,000 again? Hold on, I can't remember. Oh my goodness! But no, that's pretty cool.
9, 6, 7, 8. No.
Almost almost feels like you're about getting ready to do a waltz there with that one. And a 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3, and then he's gonna appear on Dancing with the Stars and be like, I believe this man. He did the foxtrot. It was absolutely fantastic. I give him a 5.5. What the fudge was that? 5.5 for fantastic?
And you get a 10 or a 5, I guess. Yeah.
you would just have this thing. All right, I'm gonna give him a 10. Oh wait, 1, 2. It's a 5. It's a 5 right there. I'm sorry, I thought it was a 10. It's a 5. That would be. That would be television history right there. It's like, what the fudge is wrong with this person? How do you get to be a judge?
I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian. I'm retarded. You gotta give me a little bit of grace here. Come on.
Oh, I will now. I've now another Canadian. I've talked to many a Canadian.
Well, don't worry. I'm wearing my USA Bass Pro Shops hat now. You know.
Bass Pro Shop. I haven't been to a Bass Pro Shop in forever. The last time I went to a Bass Pro Shop, they had a restaurant in it. I was like, what? Seriously, they have a restaurant at Bass Pro Shop? That's weird. It was
like elk steaks or.
No, we didn't. I don't think we went in to eat. It was just like passing through. But like there was a restaurant in a. It's not all of them. I don't think all of them have. I think it's like certain ones have them. But like it was just one of them that had a restaurant. I was like, wait, really? I guess it makes sense if you have a tanks full of fish. So I guess there's that. But it's like that's weird.
I know the one in Memphis. That's like that is in the pyramid there now. And they have a restaurant at the very top. It's like there's a hotel inside of it. It's a whole deal.
Isn't that the one in Las Vegas though? The pyramid one?
No, the pyramid one's in Memphis, Tennessee.
I know there's the one in Las Vegas that has a Bass Pro Shop too. I think that's at the pyramid. Gosh dang it! Hold on. Las Vegas.
Because the one in Memphis, it was the old like Grizzlies arena. It was like it was meant to be an arena, and then it was sat empty for years. Luxor. And then Bass Pro Shops, Luxor. I don't think last time I was at the Luxor there wasn't a Bass Pro Shop in there, but
let me see, Luxor Bass Pro Shop, because I'm already here with the internet. Might as well. Bass Pro. Here we go. Oh my gosh.
There's not a lot of lakes around Vegas, or at least ones that have fish in it. Let's just say that much.
Well, we're not going to get into any fishy situation. Okay, here we go. Here's for this one. This is the one you were talking about. The one in the Bass Pro Shops is located in Memphis, Tennessee, not in Luxor. Okay. No, not Luxor. Egypt. No, Luxor. Las Vegas. Gosh dang it.
I was right, though. I was right.
Yeah. Resuming results for Bass Pro Shops. Here we go. Well, never mind. All right. Screw that. I was in the wrong. Okay. I'll go back to where we were. No, just take me back. I forget it.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
You know, I try so hard and I just end up failing. I'm just gonna take that loss. Sir Dirty Dog says a newborn with a 5,000 computer can be a Spotify star, but it takes a person of age to change a record. There you go.
This is true.
But it can take
anyone. Gotta know where the needle drop.
Yeah, gotta know where to drop that needle. It's like you see some of those people with like squeaky. I'm just like, doesn't that ruin it? Doesn't it? I don't know, but no, I know that you have been on with Gina and Sean in the past. You seem to be on almost every time. I feel like you're like their second cousin twice removed.
I'm their new favorite cousin. That's what I'll say. Yes, no. Typically, I'm on Monday nights on the Pop Culture Beatdown, where we talk movies, box office, and anything kind of pop culture adjacent. Typically, it's in the movies or TV sphere. But certainly we kind of hone in on the movies and that kind of stuff. And as I said, I'm also a mod over on Film Threat. I'm a mod
really?
over on my buddy Das Thief's channel, who's a great
Nice.
VTuber here on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to promote the Rumble guys, because we want to promote Rumble as much as we can. So yeah, Das Thief is fantastic, and one of the guys in the chat right now, Ololique, or Ololique, he'll get on me if I say it wrong, and he'll talk about the chat. You got to have him on for an interview. He would be a fantastic interview. So
well, I'm not very good at interviews, but I am good at having conversations. So there is that. And he says, yeah, but I'm a mod on Film 32 because the Tom of Glory had too much New Year's. Like, no.
That is true. That is true. That is true. He caught her at a weak moment. He caught her at a weak moment.
Call out in chat. You gotta call out in chat. Oh my god. I would just say Olo because that's what his name starts with. Because I try to pronounce the rest of the name, I'm going to start sounding like I have like I just had ecstasy or something. Like, oh, like man, it's all so good. Olo la quackalaka.
Olo liaque. Olo liaqui. Olo liaqua.
You know, it's sort of like when you're trying to guess the password to get in your computer. Okay, what did I have it down? Olo nachos. Nope. Dang it. It's not fun. We have to do that. But yeah, that's pretty funny. But no, that's pretty awesome though. Because I've watched the Film Threat stuff in the past on a rare occasion. It's like there's too many content creators to follow, no matter what the platform is. But no, it's nice that I mean you get to know a lot of different people, and I certainly have talked to. I've certainly talked to a lot of different people, so it certainly gives you a perspective of stuff. But like, do you do stuff of your own? Like, do you just like do you do content creation yourself, or are you just guest?
I've been avoiding it for about 20 years of my life, but more and more, certainly in the recent few weeks, the recent few months, it looks like that might be a route that I'm going to be heading down and making more of my own content. And my brother has a sports podcast.
Oh, nice.
A buddy of mine who I was talking to last night says he wants to kind of start a music podcast. So I'm thinking about kind of coalescing a few of these, different shows and trying to put them all on Rumble. Everyone has their own show. It's a little bit of their own thing. So, we'll see it. We'll see in the coming weeks and months how things come together. But no, I was reluctantly kind of dragged into the Third Railify universe. I was happy to be in the chat and to be dropping knowledge in the chat. And Gina and Sean said, "Hey, you know what? One night you got to come on." And one of our hosts just left. Can you come on and guest for one night? And I guess that one night went well enough that they said, "Hey, can you come back again? And can you come back again?" And then I made it to co-host status. So it was that was pretty cool. So as I said, it's been something that since I was in high school and since I ran, Facebook pages that were about music and films, and all my friends were like, "Oh, you got to start a video channel about this or a podcast about this," or when people were still parts of Facebook groups and they were millennials and they, but I was always very reluctant to do it, to kind of put myself on screen and to actually put myself out there. And yeah, I figured at this point, what is there to lose? I'm happy to spread my knowledge, and heck, it's good experience at this point, and I'm happy to chat with people instead of just being a chatter on the side. If people actually want me to be there and show up, I'm happy to be there. So
nice. Well, it certainly feels like Facebook is like the retirement home of social media nowadays.
Well, I remember when Facebook, like when I got Facebook, you had to be invited onto Facebook. You had to know someone who already had it, and they had to invite you. And we're talking literally 20 years ago, like 2006. Like we're talking back in the dark ages of the internet kind of thing, right? And I'm not sure if it was a friend of mine or might have even been my babysitter at the time who also went to the same high school, who was like a few years older. But whatever it was, I got the connection, got in, and that was when Facebook was just like a way to post some photos and to keep track of your friends' birthdays. And now it's become the boomer platform to rage against the world. So
God dang you kids, where's my sugar snacks? No, it does feel like, it sort of feels like what, I don't think it will go to the way of MySpace, but like MySpace became something retired after Facebook kind of slowly took over. And, MySpace was sort of that beginning stage, at least from what I could remember. It did a lot more than what Facebook does, but I mean, Facebook is like, it's like a smorgasbord of wow.
And you remember MySpace used to have like your top 8 friends and your favorite song. Whenever someone clicked on your page, it was your favorite song.
Yeah.
And then I think actually, I might be wrong here, but I think Justin Timberlake actually bought like a controlling stake in MySpace like 10 years ago, like after it had gone kind of out of date. And they've slowly been trying to bring it back. And I actually saw a story recently when Blink-182 was releasing the 25th anniversary of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, kind of one of their seminal records. And they re-released a bunch of their music and stuff on MySpace. And I'm not sure if you'd been on MySpace in the last 5 years, but if we're talking about a broken website, a website that does not work, like where it's just like text is all over the place and images are not like it. So I'm not sure how they did that. I'm not sure what the thought was behind it. It's a cool idea in the sense that we're gonna hit the nostalgia button. But no one who had MySpace 25 years ago has checked their MySpace in 20 years.
Yeah.
So
it's been bought and sold around, and it's a shell of what it used to be, if anything at all, which is kind of the point at a certain point.
I wouldn't even call it a shell. I call it a husk. It's a husk. Like it's just. But Tom's been passed around more times than the local OnlyFans chick, right? So.
Yeah, I can see that. It's your turn now. Olo says in chat, I'm still doing some video editing, but I'll keep this going in the background and maybe chime in again. I did 38 retarded movie review videos once a week or one a week, and since then it's been sporadic, mostly stream. I love the clip of Whiskey Capitalist going off on Gina about the flat Earth. Oh, that's interesting. And of course, Sir Dirty Dog says Facebook today is as relevant as me now as AOL. That is true. I can see that. And then Olo says I had to rip songs from MySpace to get the Dairy Brothers material, the Beards previous band. What? Never heard of them.
Yeah. Olo's got a knowledge of like obscure music and kind of alternative music, not like alternative pop music or alternative music or indie stuff, like stuff that's truly alternative, that is unmatched. That is frankly unmatched. And Sir Dirty Dog is a fellow Canadian brother out in the West Coast, so I'm happy he was able to drop by. So
nice. Now, how are you I think it was just recent, but like, how are you guys faring with the fires?
We're gonna start there. Okay, so I literally
I fucking, it's okay.
I fucking woke up this morning,
and
looked out the window with the blind down, and it was just orange light shining through.
Wow.
And that's not not for like, there's usually light shining through in the morning, and it's still like I got my window open. It's haze. It's and if you look on the weather network on the app, it doesn't say sunny or raining or cloudy. It just says smoke.
Yeah.
So it's quite bad out there today. Unlike any day that I can kind of really think of in the past. And I think it's a bit cloudy with the smoke on top of that. But yeah, this morning it looked like a nuclear bomb was going off. Kind of, it was pretty awful out there. So I apologize to our American friends in the Northeast, because in a day or two you're gonna have to deal with that as well. And yeah, it's not great. Like I said, I got a thing of water here because my voice is a bit hoarse. But yeah, it's not kind out there.
You don't have to apologize. So, I mean, because I remember a few years ago where they had the same sort of like fire go through the forest, and it came down, and you could smell the burning every day. That haze was here. You could smell the burning of the wood just from that, and it was, I don't know, it was almost felt like a week's time was until it would just dissipate, and it was just, man, you guys know how to party is all I'm gonna say. Goodness gracious.
We probably
Someone
should
would
we probably
go
should have
ahead.
taken Trump's advice and cleaned our forests a little bit, but that's neither here nor there.
Should have taken his advice to be bought out, but technically
Uh,
can't do that. Technically can't do that. I had
I,
to look that up. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
So Doug is weather in BC. What? DC is, you mean weather in BC this year has been, British Columbia. Okay. British Columbia this year has been perfect. Wouldn't trade with anywhere. Well, congratulations, because I need some fresh air.
I'll be out there in a few weeks, going to see my
Nice.
family out in Kelowna, so I'm looking forward to it. But
Nice.
there was actually a video from last night
Mhm.
where these guys who are the CN Rail, so like one of the main kind of train companies that is hauling stuff through the Northern
Mhm.
Ontario.
Mhm.
It's them inside their train looking out,
Yeah.
and it's just fire all around them, and they're like, "Can you come save us? The
Yeah.
flames are really close now, and there's nothing you can see but just a forest on fire." Like they must have gone
Oh.
right into a forest fire,
Oh.
and thankfully they're fine. They got saved, but it's a bit rough now. And
Yeah.
I have a buddy who used to be a forest firefighter up in Northern Ontario, and
Yeah.
usually it was you didn't get a ton of fires in Northern Ontario. You might have gotten the odd one,
Yeah.
but normally, actually, most years he would get sent out to BC to go
Yeah.
fight their fires, because there's a lot more fires in kind of the Rocky Mountain areas on the dry side of the mountains.
Yeah.
But this year, I guess we've had it bad. Some Indian left a cigarette in the wilderness, and and now we're all paying for it. So.
That peyote was incredible. Like, that Indian was like, I need to smoke more of that. But it just you just come back. The fire's all gone. He comes like, what started this fire? I wouldn't know. Wouldn't know.
Doing the ayahuasca, shitting at one end and smoking a cigarette out the other, and being like, "Hey, why is the forest fire burning around me?"
Tickle Elmo, son. Get the blanket so we can make big smoke signal. It's the only way they can contact their brothers in America is they make a very big fire.
Exactly.
It's called a joke, people. Goodness sake. But no, it's pretty interesting because, well, at least in Canada itself, because I think I was trying to look up. It's like a majority of Canada lives on the borderline. Like, there's a
Oh yeah,
certain,
like 70% of the Canada lives within like 30 miles of the border, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and because I believe there's like a certain point in Canada where it's like you can't do anything after that point. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's a I can't remember what they called it, but it's like,
Certainly in Northern Ontario and up into parts of Manitoba, it's called the Canadian Shield, and
okay.
that's just like the last kind of like ancient. We're talking like pre the last ice age or two. Rock formation. We're
Mm,
like, you can't grow anything on that. It's just trees. It, it it's beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous.
yeah.
It's cottage country. It's a great place to go and spend a weekend. But if you're trying to like grow crops or do anything, it's
Mm,
effectively useless land. So,
yeah.
and people forget how kind of big Canada is at times. Like,
Yeah.
I think I was looking it up the other day in that like Ontario, which is where
Mm-hmm.
I'm based,
Mm-hmm.
is like 9 Ohios.
Wow.
And I was driving through Ohio a couple of weekends ago because I was down there for the 4th. I was
Mm-hmm.
celebrating with my American brothers and sisters. We still love
Hoorah.
you guys. We still love you. And but you forget how and Ohio is a huge state,
Yeah.
but you also forget how big Ontario is. And Ontario it's like 3 days up from one edge to the other kind of thing. It's
Jeez, that's crazy.
it would be faster for me to drive from southern Ontario to Florida effectively.
Wow. But
Now
that still would be
there's better highways and stuff. There's better highways. Don't get me wrong, but
right. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine there are those inferences of like infrastructure in Canada versus US and all that stuff because obviously, of course, it's still very parliamentary up there in Canada. As far as I understand it, anyway. But Sir Dirty Dog asks where I'm from. Well, of course, I'm from the U.S. of A. For those who don't know, but I live in the state of Indiana, in the U.S. Not going to get any more details than that though. But that is where I am about. So there's that.
the future home of the Chicago Bears.
Chicago. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to be moving to Hammond, Indiana, which is just right along the border there, kind of between Gary and Chicago.
Well, yeah, you don't want to go to
Is
Gary. It's
Yeah, you don't want to go to Gary. But I'm a Chicago Bears fan, so that's
yeah,
my team, and it's like I still want to go see a game in Soldier Field, but if it's 45 minutes closer to go see a game in the future,
yeah. There
I
you go.
can't complain.
Yeah, the man's thinking ahead. Like, what was the reason they gave of why they're moving though? Obviously, of course, it's Chicago, so I'm pretty sure it has like a money thing. But like, did they give a reason of why?
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a communist shithole who can't get their things together. And then they had
Mm,
bought a bunch of land in
mm,
Arlington, which is about, I believe, 18 or 20 miles outside of Chicago. And they
yeah.
bought it was like an old racetrack, and they bought it, and they wanted to
Oh.
build kind of their whole like stadium district, and build
Mm,
like a whole Chicago Bears essentially thing, right? Where
right.
they could make money off condos and commercial and all this,
Mm,
and they couldn't get the tax benefits. And Indiana said, "Well, you can come down here to Hammond, which is actually I believe like 16 miles from downtown Charlotte, so it's actually technically closer."
oh wow.
And they said, "We'll give you the tax benefits. We'll help you build the stadium. Come on, bring it
There you go.
down. We'll take the Illinois money." And
Yeah.
so it'll be Indiana actually having two sports teams. Technically, one is the Chicago Bears, but it's Indiana's not just got the Colts anymore. It'll be the Colts and the Bears.
Oh yeah, that'll be true because that I believe the Colts are in Indianapolis. I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
But and Dirty Dog says Ontario and Quebec are almost the size of Western Europe, and Indiana is close enough. Well, I mean, it's a lot less than Texas. Texas, I believe, is the bigger. Well, you have California, and then you have Texas, and I believe those are probably big, the big two states that the United States has. But when in talking that regard, like I've talked to people from like Alaska and stuff, and I'm pretty sure you remember like Trump going around saying, we like to make Canada the 51st state or whatever, which that would have been interesting if we could do it. But after looking it up, it's like legally it's not even allowed.
Well, and not even that. I'm not sure America would want 20 more million left-wing liberal voters joining.
Yeah, that's right, Alaska,
Yeah,
Texas. Go ahead.
they're not going to want all those liberal voters joining the U.S. You
Mm,
can't make it a territory because you're not going to be able to get rid of the voting rights. Like in
mm,
theory, I would actually be down for it if you're going to create 10 more states, right? If you're going to
mm,
create treat each province and each territory like it's its own state, okay, then I guess
yeah.
it could make sense. But I
Mm,
was actually born in Alberta, and Alberta
mm,
is looking at separating right now, and looking at doing a vote to separate from Canada, not to join the U.S., but to become
they
kind of its
can't
own. Uh, it's
legally.
no, they legally can, 100%. They're
Well,
doing it. They're doing a referendum actually in October or November, I believe.
right, and I had to look that information up because I wanted, because so for me, right, for the whole Canada thing, right, I was like, forget the rest. I just wanted to be able to connect Alaska to America, right? Because you guys are connected to Alaska because of the land mass, but like we're not. And so once, if we had a way of, I think it's like whatever that edge, the Yukon, right? The Yukon, and then I think like
Well, yeah, it's like Alaska here, and then the Yukon's kind of, sorry,
yeah, and we have to get,
right beside it. But
yeah,
yeah, now if you wanted to connect them, you'd have to deal with BC, and BC is actually outside of its kind of main cities, which are Victoria and Vancouver.
yeah,
I'm sure you've heard of Vancouver. Victoria is
yeah, of course.
the capital city, which is actually on the island
Mm,
off the coast. Are they're Seattle, San Francisco liberal. Like they're
yeah,
very, very, very far to the left. So the inability for that to become part of the US or to make that connection is probably not there. Although what's
yeah,
interesting is actually there is a highway that goes from the
yeah,
US to Alaska, and
yeah,
it was built by Americans. I believe it was
yeah,
during the First World War or the Second World War. And it was
yeah.
paid for by Americans. It was built by Americans.
Mm,
But it was allowed by the Canadian government because they're like, well, we don't have any highways up there yet, kind of thing, right?
yeah.
So if you guys want to build it, go ahead. And so they did allow a highway to be built up through Alaska. But having been
Mm,
up to Alaska and been on the edges of the border there and stuff, it's it's the epitome of desolate. Like there's
yeah,
nothing and no one there.
yeah.
Like
It's the
we stopped in a town called Fraser, BC, which is
yeah,
literally like on the border. And
yeah.
this was a border crossing where it didn't have border guards. You just had to show your passport to a camera and then walk on by.
Mm,
So it was
yeah.
like to tell you how, the trust in society and a safe society is. They did not even have border crossing, but it was a town of 4 people. And the 4 people
Mm,
were the 2 RCMP, which are kind of like
mm,
the FBI, kind of the national police,
mm,
um, in Canada, and their 2 wives. Those were the 4
yeah.
people in the town.
Wow. That's crazy. World War II is the last. Okay, thank you for that, Dirty Dog. But no, even if not British Columbia, you still have Alberta because it's connected to the Yukon, so you would still have that. It's still able to be like right there, so you could have that. It's just being able to finally being connected to Alaska through landmass, and it's the United States. One would mean no more passport, right? Because that you have to do the at the border passport and stuff, but it would finally mean no passport and to be able to drive literally to Alaska without having to get your passport out and all this stuff. You just need your license and go. And that was my feeling of like that, if that could be done, because the only other landmass that can't be conjoined is Hawaii. Yeah, building a bridge out there would be nigh impossible, and it's just economically not feasible.
It'd be easier to build a bridge to Puerto Rico, if we're being honest. Like it never would happen,
Yeah,
but you know what I
yeah,
mean? It'd be easier to
yeah.
build a bridge to Puerto Rico. And
Yep.
Hawaii is gorgeous, but like I've actually taken a cruise out to Hawaii from LA, and you're at
Mhm.
sea for 2 days straight where there's just
Yeah.
nothing. And
Oh, yeah.
when you're out there in the middle of the ocean and there's nothing for 2 days, except for maybe the
Mhm.
odd like passing, ocean liner or freight ship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you realize how far away Hawaii really is, right? It's not
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
5-hour flight from LA or
Mm.
Vancouver or San Francisco or Seattle, but no,
Mhm.
it's 2 days on a massive moving cruise ship, at
Yeah.
least 2.5 days, kind of like it's
Mm.
yeah. So
It's great. That's crazy.
no bridge going there, no bridge going there. But no, I said I've been to Alaska. I love Alaska.
Uh,
Alaska's gorgeous. Um,
yeah.
and there is a real, especially when you get to like, because in Canada you have your provinces, which are the ones kind of down by
Yes.
the 49. And up north you
Yeah.
have the territories. there's a much more symbiotic relationship because of the indigenous cultures and stuff up there between Alaska and the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, as Sir Dirty Dog was saying, and Nunavut. Like there's a much like even in terms of like what guns you're allowed to bring over. Like if I tried to bring a gun over the Canadian border to the States or vice versa, it would not be allowed. But if you're indigenous, you can bring your guns, you can bring your ammo without issue, or really without issue across the borders. So there is a real symbiotic relationship kind of once you get that far north. But no, Alaska's gorgeous, and if anybody hasn't been there or has the chance to go there, check it out.
Yeah, no, because I know some people, like, of course, you've got like the Niagara Falls area and all that, but there are plenty of nice places to be able to go to. Is just that. It's just my thought of like if that was possible, to be connected land wise to Alaska, that would probably be the best. Connect, I mean, we are, but we're not in a legal sense, and it's just trying to bypass that passport part, right? Because if you're in the United States, you don't have to have a passport for like going into each state, right? But if you're going to a new country like Canada or Mexico, you need a passport to even go over. And I'm just like, well, what if we could just take some parts and just connect ourselves? You guys can keep the rest, and we'll just be like, oh, look, America right there.
You got to thank 9/11 for that, because even before that, like if in the 70s or the 80s, you could just take your driver's license and they would let you go right through. It wasn't an issue.
Nice. It's just so easy. It's just so easy. It's not like I'm trying to come across and steal things or whatever. I just want to be able to go. I would just like to be able to go through that remark of land and go to Alaska without that being that hiccup, because. And yeah, you're right. It is because 9/11 all stuff, but it's like it's such a travesty in the regard, because it just makes that trip more harder when it can just be like a simple one and done, right? I was
gonna say, don't let that discourage you from going to Alberta, though, because Alberta is a great place. Alberta really is the Texas of Canada in many ways. It is gorgeous.
There you go. This man is not paid by Canada to promote Alberta. He is not a, what do they call it? He is not a promoter of tourism for Alberta. My name is AD Ellis, and I'm here to tell you about the joys and wonders of Alberta, Canada. Did you know we have forests?
And mountains and fields
and fish. Look at that, there's a fish.
And dinosaurs. We have a whole Badlands area. All like the biggest dinosaur bones that are all shown in American museums, most of them were found like in the American Museum of Natural History in New York, are all from Alberta. Like all the T-Rex bones and Albertosaurus and all. It's called the Albertosaurus because it's from Alberta. But yeah, there's a whole Badlands area, kind of similar to like a South Dakota and North Dakota vibe. All throughout a portion of Alberta, and it's an area called Drumheller, and if you're a dinosaur fan, it's like the dinosaur capital of the world.
That's pretty awesome. And Nugent says, I'm watching you guys from over 10,000 feet in the air. I'm away to Puerto Rico right now. Just went overseas with his stream, literally. I have talked to people from Australia, so I've literally gone across the water. Drumheller is kind of a cool place, so kind of cool. So I guess
it's a day trip. It's a day trip kind of thing.
Right.
I was lucky enough. I did the like the Boy Scouts and the Beavers and the Cub Scouts, all that back in the day. And when I was living there, we actually did a sleepover at the Dinosaur Museum. So we were all laid out in the museum underneath all these massive dinosaur bones and stuff, which is quite a unique experience.
Yeah, which I mean, again, it goes back to you saying like there's all these nice natural things here. I know I was watching a video once of like, I think there's some places in Canada where you can go like. It was like fossil hunting, but it's sort of like this nice rainbow color sheen fossil thing where like you could find this like rainbow color, but I can't remember what the type of rock it's called. It was just some video I saw on YouTube, but it's like it's the only place you could do it. I think it was like the guy the older gentleman was with in the video owned the land, and it was the
Right.
only way they could do it is because he owned the land. I think it was some kind of old rule or whatever, which is what it is. In a way, Drumheller is Canada's little Grand Canyon. Yeah, but you can't put little and grand next to each other. It's yeah, it's not gonna work. It's like a guy saying, "Look at my little big guy." That's just not. That just doesn't work that way. No woman's gonna believe that and say, "Wow, he's really good." It doesn't work.
No, we do have a Grand Canyon type of place though. It's over on the East Coast though. It's a national park. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah.
It's some French name. But we you don't. It's obviously not a Grand Canyon, but we do have like it's like massive cliffs. It almost looks more like Norway. If you think like the big drop offs and like there's like the valleys in between. There's some places like that. Yeah, the fjords certainly on the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be pretty funny. You're Canada. Why are you calling them fjords? Because I wanna. That's why.
They're called fjords over here. When I did my trip
really?
up to my trip up to Alaska, they called certain places that we went to fjords. So that's not a Norway exclusive term. It's something that they call it for sure.
Ellis bringing the heat down, just saying it's not just yours, Norway. It's never just yours. Oh my goodness. But no, so anyway, I kind of was looking up because you were talking about Alberta and the referendum and all stuff, and I figured kind of look that up. So you can take what it's giving with a grain of salt. But Grand Canyon Junior, no, that's not. No, you can't take a name like that. Can't do that. So this is what it gives. Take it with a grain of salt. But it's basically saying no, Alberta cannot unilaterally leave Canada, as any separation would be illegal under Canadian.
So
I can't.
That answer is kind of BS. Like it literally contradicts itself when it says, while a referendum is scheduled for this year, October 19th, to gauge public sentiment. And I'm not sure if people remember, but in 1980 and 1995, there were 2 referendums for Quebec to leave Canada and become its own separate nation. Now, Quebec has since been deemed legally and by the federal government as a nation within a nation. So it kind of can have its own laws. It can kind of run its own program. But no, 100% Alberta, if the public chooses en masse to leave, well, the referendum itself wouldn't trigger that. It would essentially put the onus on the federal government to be like, okay, what next, right? So while it says it cannot unilaterally leave Canada, that term unilaterally is doing a lot of the weight there, right? It's not illegal under the Canadian constitutional law and international law. In the same way, it wouldn't be illegal if Northern Ireland wanted to join Ireland, or if Wales wanted to become its own country, or if Scotland, who did a referendum a few years ago, wanted to leave the United Kingdom. There's no international law that would bind what Canadians can do. That unto itself is a bullshit term. You can't have international law dictating what people do in their own country. But what the referendum would do would essentially gauge whether or not within Alberta we want to start triggering the necessary requirements for Alberta to separate itself from Canada. Process. No one really knows at this point what that would entail. Would it entail creating a new currency? Would it entail having closed borders. Like, these are the things that aren't really, that they haven't figured out yet because they don't have to. Right at this point, they're just trying to figure out whether or not the majority of Albertans, or the ones that can legally vote at least, would be interested in leaving Alberta. And as I said, Quebec did one in 1980 and one in 1995. Guess how much the one in 1995 was? Like, what the difference was in yes to no. Yes, leave, no, stay. It was less than a percentage point.
Oh, interesting.
So in 1995, we were talking about 60,000 votes decided whether or not Quebec would still be a part of Canada. And frankly, if Quebec left Canada, it would be a third world country. Like, their biggest export for a long while was asbestos.
Ooh, yeah, that's.
There's literally a town in Quebec called Asbestos, Quebec, where it's all mined. And there are other kind of big export. Like, they do have rare earth minerals and stuff in the north.
Yeah.
But their other big export is hydropower, right? And that's something that in Ontario and Quebec that we're very lucky with, in that like our power companies that we pay our power bills to every month. Like in Ontario, it's called Ontario Hydro. It's because not a majority, but I think 40% of our power comes from like Niagara Falls, as you were saying before. Like, just like hydropower, literally just hydropowering the state. We have a ton of nuclear here as well. We're building a new nuclear plant. But no, it's if you're looking at like the big exports of Quebec, it's really hydropower and rare earth minerals, and that's about it. Like, there's not much else that they. Whereas if you look at a place like Alberta has the third biggest oil reserves in the world, right? Only behind Venezuela and Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Right, so they have a little bit of leverage there.
True.
There's been equalization payments that have been going. That they've been paying essentially out to the rest of the provinces to keep everyone else solvent. I did the math on this a couple of years ago, but it's under $100 if you live in Ontario, but how much money you get per person from Alberta. But if you live in Quebec, they're getting about $1,400 plus per person from Alberta, just to kind of make them solvent. So.
Right.
And this has not just been going on for 5 years, 10 years. This has been going on for 60 years, right? Like,
jeez.
The province of Alberta wants to leave because at this point they kind of feel like they become the like the reserve bank account for Canada, right? They've been giving out more than they've gotten back. So. Yeah, no, they're definitely at a point now where I think people are fed up, and then they're fed up now with the federal government, the way it's going. And so, yeah.
Well, let me switch. So I asked that, but I switched over to asking Grok, because I mean Grok is just a little more than asking that. So in a sense,
I'm gonna step out for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Be right back. 2 seconds.
Sure. Oops. Let's see. I think that's close enough. I think you guys can see it. I'll take them off screen. But anyway, so what Grok states is basically, yes, it is legally possible for Alberta to leave Canada, but only through an extreme, difficult, multi-step constitutional process, not unilaterally. No province has ever successfully seceded, and the barriers, legal, political, economic, and practical, are very high. The legal rules, right? So this is the legal part. I'm pretty sure many people are so excited about legal stuff, but it's part of the point of the thing, of how to get there. The framework comes from two key sources that apply to any province. The first one, of course, is the Quebec thing he was talking about. A province cannot secede unilaterally under Canadian or international law. However, a clear majority vote on a clear question in a referendum creates a democratic obligation for the federal government and other provinces to negotiate in good faith. So that would mean that. Well, I think you said it too. But if you want to basically it puts it in a spot where the rest of the provinces and the government itself, I think it's in Ottawa, right? Like the main government is in Ottawa. They have to negotiate with Alberta in good faith of I guess the economic part or whatever. Because I mean, like you said, there's oil and all that other stuff there. And it continues.
Yeah, they're going to use it as a leverage point. So, whether or not how good it goes, they're going to use it as leverage. Like I know I was recently reading a story about how the premier, which is kind of like our governor, the premier of Ontario, has been talking with the premier of Alberta. Because Alberta's big issue is that they're a landlocked province.
Definitely.
So they cannot get their oil out to the world without having to go through other provinces who seem to be a little bit more. Yes, Quebec Hydro essentially powers New York State. That is true. But they cannot get their oil out to the world of their own accord. So they've been building a massive new natural liquid like a liquid LNG, liquid natural gas plant out in British Columbia. A huge it's being funded by foreign entities. But no. So the Premier of Ontario and the Premier of Alberta have kind of recently talked about, hey, let's get a plant or let's get plans together to at least. Ideally, what they would want to do is they would want to build a pipeline through Quebec to get to the St. Lawrence River, because that's one of the largest navigable waterways in the entire world. But if that's not going to be an option, which Quebec is a very unique place, but if that's not going to be an option, what they're going to do is, there's it's called the Hudson's Bay, and there's James Bay below it.
I've heard that.
It's kind of big dip part of water that separates kind of the east and the west of Canada. And that they're going to look to build a pipeline and a facility up in that region, and just have the pipeline essentially go straight across Canada to there. And whether or not you believe in global warming or all this climate change or whatever it is, I think it's been a bit nonsense as I've studied it for 20 years. But there are going to be more navigable waterways through that body of water in the future, right? So if Alberta can start just relying on Ontario and not having to can we go into Quebec? If they can just go to Ontario and then they can kind of go up and over, that might end up kind of being a solution to just at least getting their oil out, because they wanted to sell to the States. That's the only place they really can sell it to right now. They got screwed with the Keystone Pipeline that was shut down by Biden.
I remember that. Yep.
Right, because they wanted to send it down to Texas, where it was going to be, because Texas has one of the the West Texas refineries and all that stuff. They need a refinery solution, right? So and a transport, and so they do sell a lot of their stuff to the States, but they sell it at a discount because of how much it costs to kind of get it over the border, because you're doing it by trucks, you're not doing it by a proper pipeline. They're not selling it at the premium that they're paying to get oil from other places around the world, right? So I think Trump's obviously been more open to that idea, and originally he had approved the Keystone until Biden shut it down. So ideally that would be, if you can have Alberta they have all these resources. Like, Canada should not be a poor country, right? People in Canada should not be paying the highest housing prices and the highest cell phone costs and the highest internet costs in the world.
Right.
But if you had a solution for at least its richest province, Alberta, to get its most valuable resource out efficiently, I think that would change. It would change the direction Canada's going in for the better. And it seems like the guy who's in power right now, Carney, he's very carbon tax, anti-fossil fuels. But even he's kind of having to be kind of pushed into a corner, having to be like, yeah, if I want to make all my other social bullshit obligations come to fruition, I need to utilize what Alberta's got to offer. And Alberta's been shut down and said for 60 years since Justin Trudeau's dad was in power.
Supposed dad.
Should we go down that rabbit hole?
We'll finish this one first before we go down another. But sir, Dirty Dog says, to be fair, no province has ever had the people's mandate to leave, so it's all on tested ground. True, but there's still rules to follow. But like the other part, of course, is the secondary part, which is the Clarity Act 2000, which codified the Supreme Court's principles. So it says the referendum question must be clear. The House of Commons decides this. There must be a clear majority, not just 50% plus one of votes cast. Factors like turnout and margin matter. If those conditions are met, negotiations begin with involving the federal government, the seceding province, and other provinces. So basically what I mentioned earlier, like they all come together to like negotiate with. Negotiations would cover dividing the national debt and assets, borders, indigenous rights, and treaty obligations, minority rights, and more. So yeah. Final secession requires a constitutional amendment under Canada's amending formula, generally needing substantial provincial support. This process applies equally to Alberta. Alberta does not have special status like Quebec in this context. So
special status like Quebec, which actually could be, which in theory, they could argue in a court, especially in a Supreme Court, why does Quebec have the special status to do this and we don't? And if, as you said there, those rules were made in 2000. That was 5 years after Quebec's last national referendum. Because as I said, they literally won by less than a single percentage point. It was like 50.6 to 49.4. And when they realized how close it got, they wanted to make it more difficult for Quebec to potentially do that in the future. Now, what they're finding is that it's not going to be Quebec that wants to do it in the future, even though Quebec still has separatist parties that run nationally. Like, it's still a big deal in Quebec, but it's going to be Alberta. And Alberta is, I guarantee you, would have a case. Now, sadly, our Supreme Court is run by a bunch of feckless liberal, idiots. It's not as well balanced as it is in the States. But they would probably have a decent case in a court of law to be like, well, why would Quebec have special exemption on this and not Alberta?
Yeah.
Right. Why are you holding us to a different standard than you would hold Quebec to? So I get the whole, it has to be a majority, which usually is a 2/3 majority, right?
Yeah.
Same as it
2/3,
And I had a discussion with a guy online the other day, and he was like, well, it's not going to happen. I was like, well, as I said, Quebec had one in 1980 and then one in 1995. Those are 15 years apart.
Yeah.
If they do one this year, and then let's say in 15 years, if things are still going down the toilet in Canada, why couldn't they do another one in 15 years? And who's to say it wouldn't be 60% or 61%? And at that point, you have to say pretty close to a majority of the population.
Yeah, a little
people are going to leave.
Asking. Right? Yeah,
right.
Because I mean, I would think that, like you said, over 60% would be like close to that point, but even then, it would still be a hard case because again, like you said, your Supreme Court is filled with just people of a difference, and then you've got the government in Ottawa, which is like it's a whole smorgasbord of that. And so you're not only fighting an uphill. I mean, it's not to say that it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's just an uphill battle that Alberta would fight, and it's almost like, so to think of Alberta, you'd have to think is like Alberta is like a small 100-person army, and then all the other provinces is like 1,000-person army, right? You include the government with that. So you have a 100-person army versus 1,000-person army. You may get lucky, you may get God sent that you will get through, but like the numbers, going through that multi-step process, like the numbers, I don't know. It would.
We are the 300. We are the 300 Spartans. You know what I mean? No. I. In the end, is it realistic to happen in the near term? No. What I think Alberta could do, though, especially if the referendum this year goes, even if it's anywhere close to 50, if it's 45 or 46%, you use that as leverage on negotiating to get rid of the equalization payments, right? So we have to stop essentially covering up every other province's losses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have to take on, certain costs that you're incurring on us. We don't have to pay carbon taxes for our oil fields and all this bullshit. Because when you look at how much carbon, and I've been studying the environmentalism stuff since I was 12 years old. I was like the one rare environmentalist kid who was actually I was voted the environmentalist of my school, even though I was the one railing against global warming and climate change stuff.
Right.
The amount of carbon that Canada releases every year is actually offset by a massive amount by all the trees we have. So we actually are a carbon. We're not a carbon emitter. We're actually a carbon suction cup. Like we have way more trees that suck up all the carbon than we have carbon released on a yearly basis, on an annual basis. So Canada is now penalizing its people by taxing businesses, especially small businesses, farmers, industrial, all this stuff, by taxing them on the carbon that they use, which is really just it's not like you're charging a gas tax. You're charging them a tax on just existing.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the guy who is kind of the spearhead for the whole carbon tax movement, which is rolled across the entire world, is our current prime minister, who was the former Bank of England governor. He was the Bank of Canada governor. Yeah. He's a long-term WEF member. His wife was great friends, personal friends. There's photographic evidence of this with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. So like he's kind of been running in those elite circles for decades now.
Right.
And he was kind of the spearhead behind this whole, we got to tax people for carbon emissions, which really doesn't mean anything. And if anything, the globe right now is greener than it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 400 years ago, because of carbon emissions. I'm not saying that we shouldn't maybe try to run a greener lifestyle. And I'm not saying that, we should try to recycle and we should try to like cut down on our waste. Like those are things that are good. Like don't get me wrong, but to tax people on their carbon usage is just a innocuous bullshit. Like it's just you're just trying to tax. It's just more taxes.
Yeah, so. and that's understandable. I wanted to bring this up because you'd mentioned the premier. Oop, I'm gonna put myself down a bit. But it says the premier Danielle Smith. Danielle. Sorry, Danielle.
She's a woman. She's a woman.
I'm sorry. The government has called a non-binding referendum for October 19th, 2026, with this question, among others, on immigration and constitutional issues. Should Alberta remain a province of Canada, or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada? So basically, remain a province of Canada, or start the legal process for a future binding referendum. I believe the October is explicitly framed as not triggering the Clarity Act directly, since it is a non-binding, and I only ask about starting a process. Prime Minister Mark Carney has stated that Clarity Act does not apply here. So I guess one part of the two arenas is not activated by the non-binding.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court has already come out and started questioning things and the signatures that they got to even get this referendum on the board. But really, they're just trying to put roadblocks in the way because Alberta's the cash cow of the entire country, right? They don't want to lose Alberta.
Yeah.
Right? That would be a worst case scenario, and no one wants to be the prime minister who's in charge.
Oh yeah.
If Alberta decides to leave or actually gets the legal authority to potentially leave. So
yeah, and Dirty Dog has a good point too. To change the constitution, it requires 7 of 10 provinces holding more than 70% of the Canadian population, and that right there, right, that would probably be the highest hurdle I could ever think of to get that many people and get that many provinces. That's
BC and Ontario. That's
crazy.
But that's legitimately BC and Ontario. It's probably about 70% of the Canadian population.
Jeez.
But to finish, if they can make economic deals to say, hey, we build this, pipeline here, a highway there. Is it realistic in the short term? No. Is it realistic in the long term? Yeah, this is a long-term play that they're making, right? They're trying to lay the bricks for something that's going to happen, maybe not in the early part of our lifetime, but by the end of our lifetime. Could Alberta be not the 51st state, but its own independent sovereign nation? It's not out of the realm of possibility. And especially because Trump is also, he's guaranteed a $500 billion line of credit to Alberta if they do leave. So,
but the problem of it is the time factor of it's not a short-term thing. Even now, he only has 2 years left, and I don't see that happening within that time period.
No, not in 2 years. But but even if, let's say, there was another Democrat to take over for 4 years or 8 years, and then it was a switch over again, and let's say it's a Rubio or a Vance, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that line of credit or that promise would be upheld again. Right? So if maybe, let's say, in 12 years or 15 years, right? It's
a lot of ifs at this point because it relies on those people or at least group being there, and we're dealing with politics on a human level. And at least we're not killing each other for a piece of fruit, but we're basically at that point where relying on that huge if is a big bricklayer. I don't know. But to end this out, bottom line, theoretically, Alberta could leave Canada if it followed the Supreme Court Clarity Act roadmap and secured the necessary negotiations and constitutional amendment. In practice, it is highly improbable in the foreseeable future due to low public support, Indigenous rights issues, economic interdependence, and the high bar for constitutional change. The October 2026 non-binding vote is the immediate next development to watch. Based on current polling and strong majority, it is expected to favor remaining in Canada. Grievances fueling the movement are real for many Albertans, but translating them into successful secession faces steep constitutional, legal, and political hurdles. So basically, it's going to be a play for the long haul, and that long haul may take well after people the beginners are gone. Basically, it may take that long or more. But
Alberta also has been a conservative leaning province, like outside of 1 4-year gap where the NDP, who are the kind of the Marxist Socialist Party of Canada, was in power kind of the mid 2010s, I believe. it's been a conservative run province for the last 60, 70, like it's been a one-party state. The best way to put it, right? So it's not out of the realm of possibility that, as I said, the ball gets rolling now, and let's see how fast the snowball rolls down that hill.
Yeah, it's just going to be a very big hill to roll up if it has to. Not impossible. Let's be reminded that it's not impossible, but to see it in our lifetime, probably 50-50.
Well, I was born in Alberta, so I'm looking forward to my Albertan passport, my Albertan citizenship. I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. And yeah, thank you, Dirty Dog. There actually are points. Oh, he's correcting you. Oh, look at that. He's correct. There actually are points. Wow. Getting called out in chat like that.
Well, I wrote our solid points, and then I corrected it to your, because I meant to say your, and then I was actually correcting me back to saying, no, they're actually our points.
You're both correct. You're both correcting each other. See, these how nice Canadians are. They correct each other. It's like, hey, you got that one wrong, eh? No, you got that wrong, eh?
Well, actually, this was a point I wanted to bring up on the chat, and especially after having gone to the U.S. for the 250,
Yeah.
is Canadian people are polite. American people are kind, and there's a difference there. Politeness is almost something you put on. It's almost performative.
Yeah.
It's almost like, sorry, you go first, all this kind of stuff. Whereas you can go into a Bass Pro Shops, or you can go into a fast food chain or a gas station, and people in the States are just genuinely kind.
Yeah.
And I don't think you get that. You got that maybe in Canada 20 years ago. You don't get that in Canada now. Canada feels polite, but there's almost a hostility behind it. Whereas if you go into like small town USA, we were in Michigan, we were in Ohio. I've been to 25 of the 50 US states myself. Nice. There's just a genuine kindness that most people have. And I think that, people think America, people think Canada's, it's everyone's so kind, everyone's so polite, everyone's so nice. Yeah, I think especially with the World Cup happening and all the tourists showing up, and then you're seeing those videos of like people going into places be like, we love America. Everything we're told about America is wrong. No, Americans are incredibly kind, and I think it's like, oh, you hear Southern hospitality, yeah, but there's also hospitality in Ohio and Michigan and Indiana and Illinois, and when you get out of kind of the big cities and stuff, if you're not in certain places, I think people really kind of underappreciate how kind Americans are. So as a Canadian brother, that's something I wanted to say.
That's he's got that, and we thank you, sir. No, yeah, it's just I've seen those videos, and there is that sort of like, it is sort of kind of like one of those things, being able to see a country through someone else's eyes, especially when the FIFA has certainly given us that, where you're seeing a lot of people's viewpoint of America, especially like they're coming over from Europe and all this stuff. They're like, look at all the food and all this stuff, but there's still that undercurrent of like, it's not perfect, right? And there are still its points and all this stuff. It's not to downplay their viewing of it. It's just to be realistic about countries and all this stuff. Like I could go to, the Europe side, and there's going to be their issues over there. So it's like, you see those videos, you see people traveling, like, oh, it's the best place ever. Oh my gosh. And I'm just like, true, to your first time it may look like that, but live there for a while, live years there for a while, and you'll begin to see this. It's not perfect, it's reasonable, it's livable, but perfect is a very odd thing to say, especially if you're coming in for your first time. It's not to downplay, it's to be realistic about the nature of humanal society in different countries, different rules and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure a lot of people appreciate being able to be able to speak freely and all this stuff, or enjoy the different freedoms like shooting guns, right? Like you can, I've had people on from Australia, like you can get a gun, but it's so difficult. It's like at a point you can't do that, or you don't want to. But anyway, before we continue on beyond that, it is a little past the top of the hour, but that's how a conversation goes. It takes you way past the point, and that's okay. But what I do is I set aside some time for me and my guest, whether they are a creator or not, doesn't matter, to promote their stuff, whatever it may be. I only got your Twitter X link. There wasn't anything else. So if you want to promote, whatever you want to promote, the floor is yours.
Yeah, no, the X link is great. Feel free to follow me over there. I'm mostly just liking and reposting things about Canadian and American politics and all that. But on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern, that would be 7 p.m. in the West, we have Pop Culture Breakdown over on the third Railify channel here on Rumble and Pilled. It's a solid 3-hour show where me, Sean, third Railify, Just Gina, and Darnell Quigley talk everything pop culture, everything movies, everything going on in that week. And that's my big thing. And then also, as I said, feel free to join Sir Dirty Dog, Olikwe, and all of us over on Film Threat on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to have you in the chat over on Rumble because we're always looking for new fans. And no, they do not hate everything, but they are critical of everything. And so no, we do great interviews with independent filmmakers. We talk indie films. We talk kind of anything that's happening in a pop culture-esque other way. As I said, I'm not on the panel myself, but me, Sir Dirty Dog, and Olikwe are certainly in the chat making things fun. And then my buddy Das Thief on Rumble. Das Thief
sounds German.
Yes. He's actually a Colorado boy. He's a Colorado boy.
Oh, yes.
Nice. So on Tuesday nights, I try to make it when I can. I got my church stuff on Tuesdays, so I try to make it when I can. But on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, 9:30-ish is when from 9 to 9:30 is kind of when the preamble starts.
Yeah.
But they do essentially a public domain film every week.
Okay.
So they watch old movies, stuff that you've always wanted to see. I remember one time we watched the film that inspired the movie Airplane, and you realize it's the exact same script, but just done comedically. Where like the original one, it's pretty much the same words. There's the Don't Call Me Shirley, stuff, but pretty much it's the same script, and you're just like, wow, they just literally just like copy pasted this movie, put it in the 70s, and did it with a comedic bend. So yeah, that's every Tuesday over there, and then on Saturday nights over on Das Thief's channel, he does the Sink and Stream. Where there's usually a theme for the month or a theme for a couple of weeks. And what they'll do is they'll go back and they will watch a film that you can't stream necessarily on Rumble because Das is someone who works in the industry, so he doesn't want to be uploading stuff that you can't be having on not stuff that's public domain. But he'll get you to sync, stream it, and then you watch it together as a group, and you chat along and you watch it together. And so they've done James Bond movies, we've done the Star Wars film, we've done everything that you can think of, and we're always looking for new things to do, and that's each Saturday night. So the Das Thief channel, the Film Threat channel, the third Railify channel, and then I cannot leave out, even though I'm not a part of it, but Olikwe, he has some of the best movie reviews, and he streams City of Heroes. You gotta go check out his channel. The guy needs the love. He's a fantastic streamer. He's got I'm full retard. He's a genius. Like you got to go watch Olo's stuff. Olo is fantastic. He was doing movie streams for a few weeks there, or for almost a year actually, and he would do about 2 or 3 movies a week, and his insight is unlike anything you will find anywhere else on the internet. So go support Olo. Olo deserves it, and yeah, that's my piece.
See, he's even using the shortening of Ololokui. I'm not. He's like, I'm not coming back to the stream anymore.
Olo's done. Olo's going to bed. He's like, it's 9 fucking or it's 8:30. I'm going to fucking bed.
Oh goodness, but yeah, of course, Ellis's link is right there. So if you want to know what's that, it's on both the Rumble site, YouTube site. I put them on the other places I stream to as well, but it's very ephemeral, so you'll find it more permanently on YouTube or Rumble. So thank you so much for that, good sir. And of course, from my end of things, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor. That's what I call it, because I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now the whole YouTube mantra, right? Share, like, and subscribe. That's what they always say. Pretty much every content creator on YouTube says share, like, and subscribe. I get it. Okay, I get it. But I want to do a little something different. It's called the engagement factor. Anything that helps with all the comments, the liking, the reposting, anything that helps with it getting seen is much appreciated, because not only does it help being seen more, like I just mentioned, but it also helps in having other people on, like Mr. Ellis or Sean or Gina or let's see, Pudge or Rant Stark, or so many people. Again, over 365 various guests have been on DaraChat, and not all of them are content creators. So do not believe that you have to be a content creator to be on. Just be yourself, and that's all that's required. Well, other than a mic, because I'm not going to play charades with nothing. All right, it's not going to work.
365 content creators and 1 retard.
No. Again, not all of them are content creators. Some of the people don't even create content at all. So, you're a man among many, Mr. Ellis, a man among many. But yeah, I can't do the whole just have other content creators on. It's not my ordeal, because everyone has something to say, and I just provide the space to say it. So there you go. But to nowhere else, Sir Giorgio says I can't pronounce it or pronounce it either. It's Olo. Olo. I just say Olo. It's much easier to say.
Ololiakwe. Qui-Gon Jinn?
I'm quiet. I'm crying already. But anyway, here's my link right here to find all my stuff, whether it be YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Blaze, all that stuff. You can find all my socialing right there, because I do stream to other places. I am not a one-person platform. I don't believe in it. I have my own issues, but regardless, all my stuff is there. So if you want to know where else I'm at, bing, bang, boom, link right there, and you can just tra-la-la. It's my one link that rules all the others, and in the web bind them. That's what should we do with this thing? We must take it back to the web. We must take it back to the web. Anyway, enough of my Lord of the Rings joke. But there are There are 2 things I promote, and I use them in different ways. Oh, and Olo says Chris came closer today than any other. It was like he was doing it and slurring it. Hey, sometimes you just have to slur your name, man. But I'm not going to. I'm going to just say Olo, because it's much safer to say it that way.
I almost intentionally say it wrong now, because I know it gets under Olo's skin.
Olo. Oh, you could say no, that'd be Ola.
Ololique.
Anyway, I'll just say Olo. Ololique. Olo machachos. Okay. But the things they promote, I use in different ways. The first one, of course, is Proton VPN. Now, if you don't know Proton, I use Proton. That's many different facets. I have promoted Proton Mail, Proton Drive, Proton Pass, all that sort of stuff. There is a link right there. You can check about more information. Actually, funny enough, right now, while I am streaming, I am also using Proton VPN. Now I'm on the paid version side of things, so that can probably be a bit of a difference, but you can make a free account and use Proton VPN all over the world. All over the world, all the different servers and whatnot. So learn more information, links right there. And if you do take the base side, you will get a discount of sorts because I'm part of the partner program. But I promote Proton for the basis of they believe in human privacy as a human right, rather than just to make a buck. Because I don't care. I only care about putting a tool I believe in and use on a daily basis in your hands, and you can decide to do with it what you will. So link right there. Give it a look, and who knows, you may find something that is the best thing for you, but it takes you trying it rather than looking at it. So there you go for that.
And Proton is phenomenal. I've been using Proton for like 3 years now. It's a phenomenal. So get on that, people. Use that link.
What facets of Proton do you use per se, if I may ask?
I'm the email. I use it for the email, and I got my dad on it because he's he's always a late adopter of things, but when I got him to be like, this is an email, it's secure, it's private, it's encrypted, it's better organized and kind of easier to use than even Gmail or a lot of other things are nowadays. You got him on that, and when you can get a boomer to change their email, it's a big deal.
Yeah, well, and I believe they have, like, if you do have Gmail, they do have like a one switch thing for the Proton. But so to be transparent, what I have the whole Proton Unlimited, which allows access to all the stuff they have, because it is a still growing ecosystem, and I know certain people have certain things with it, but at the end of the day, it's a lot better than, because I think for the paid side, you do get access to something called the Sentinel program, which is basically like if any email that you link up to it, if something happens to it or gets breached, it will let you know. And so that's a nice tool to have. But like, I've used all the different parts, and like, so the weird thing was like, I didn't, for the VPN part, I never used it while I streamed, because I would look up information like, can I use a VPN while I streamed? And it usually says no, because it would interact and mess up the stuff or whatever. And then as an accident, I was streaming and I still had it on because I forgot to take it off. And I was like, it still works. It still works when I'm streaming. So what was the problem? So I've just been using it pretty much all the time when I go online. But I promote it for that basis of, because I want to put a tool I use and trusted tool in people's hands, because again, like you said, like your dad, right? Like, even for my grandparents, I'd like to be able to do it, but that's also that like gap, that technology gap, and you get your passwords and stuff like that, and that's where I find Proton Pass being very well for keeping your passwords and the 2FA stuff. Just a quick thing, like a while back on X, people had their accounts sort of hijacked, right? They would get like this, their account basically would send out this DM to people, and it would say like, oh, come vote for me here at this website about a podcast, beating Google and stuff. And I knew right away that was a scam, like something was going on here. But it turned out that those people had their accounts hijacked. Now, again, that's where it was like, after that point, I saw like 3 to 4 different accounts. It was like weeks ago. This still happens, but not too much anymore. I was like, you know what? I know Proton Pass. It's got 2FA integrated with it. You can have password generator integrated with it. All this stuff. It was like, I'm going to promote it because people need to know that once your account on X gets hijacked, it is nigh impossible to get it back.
Yep. That Instagram, anything, yeah.
Yeah, then why would you take that risk? It does not make sense to me. So I promoted that as well, because I believe in what they're doing. And sure, yeah, they're not perfect, but at the end of the day, they're building an ecosystem of encryption.
Same goes with Rumble. They're not perfect, but they're getting better, and they're trying to be better.
I have a different matter, but I'll get to that point later. I'll explain myself, because I do data collection, and I am 50-50. But to get beyond the second part, Sturdy Dog says, never trust the Swiss, they're evil. Yes, I know. Austin Power reference. All right, I get it. But but for my second thing I promote, and this will be the last one, is of course Biltong USA. Now, of course, you've been on Third Railify, you know, but I do it a little differently. Gina likes to use her feminine ways to get that. Yeah, she likes to use her feminineness to get that. But I am just a man. But I will say I did get to have on Anton a while back. Great dude. He's actually from South Africa himself. So to bring something of his country over to make in America. So like basically in Sunset, Texas is where their base of operations is. And it's just like a sort of mom and pop business, right? So if you're in Texas, might be worth a stop if you're near Sunset, because I know Sunset for many is far away, but you can go there. You can get half food. All the stuff you can find on their online store is in store as well. But I mean, I promote it because I do like their stuff, but my wallet doesn't agree with me. So it's been a while. I'm getting the sweets and treats from the UK. I'm getting drinks. I'm getting the biltong, and then it's like, it's at $78. Ooh, but that's
only 78.
Well, I go above to get the free shipping. I try to go above to get the free shipping that they offer. So it's like at 65, I think is now. But I try to get that because I don't want to have to pay like $17 to get something to me, even on the slow end. So it's like free shipping. Yes. I did go to 100 once, but that was because I had a little extra cash. I'm like, I want to support, but that's going to be a long time. But I did use my code Dara to save myself some 10% because I like to save a little money. How about you? So you can go to the online store, put in the promo thing, and use code Dara because it is a 4-letter word you can say. Because some of you kids out there, man, your mouths are, they're like fire, talking like a sailor. Okay, but again, link right there. Even if you don't get anything from them, give them a look. They're again, it's a family business making in America, and I distinctly remember a few years ago, a lot of people in America were complaining, wanting more products made in America, more made in America. Well, here's one right there. Family business right there. So give it a look, and I promise it helps. Anton's, like I said, Anton's a great dude. His wife, Nicole's a great lady, and they put videos out, I think, every day, or they stream every day on their channel as well. So they're great people. I look forward to being able to do that. So code and stuff right there. And yes, it's almost like what's Arby's. Yeah, what was the saying tagline for Arby's?
We got the meats.
We got the meats. Oh goodness gracious! But no, going back to the Rumble thing, I just kind of explain that I do a thing once a month called Rumble Squared, where I bring on people who use the platform, whether they're a creator or not, and just get their feedback on their experience, the good and the bad and the ugly, and sort of. I ask 3 questions and they answer it in their own way and all that stuff. And there's one coming up next Saturday. But the reason of why I do it is because I've not seen anyone do to the scope of. Usually, I would see people have live streams, fine, sure, whatever, or X spaces. But my issue is that stayed there, and it got lost to the void of time. You can go back to it, you can watch it, but like people, majority of the time, are not going to go back and watch a 3-hour stream. It's just that thing. So what I do with that, with all the feedback and stuff, right? Because I do 2 very distinct things. I do the Rumble Squared, and I do a prediction chart. And this is based upon publicly available data, all that stuff. Nothing is on a private scale. It's all publicly available. But the prediction chart is sort of with that data, trying to predict like where Rumble could be going, what could happen, that sort of stuff. But I put it out all in a infographic status, so that way what people said or whatever is put out there, and it's not hidden behind watching a stream. You get to read people what they said, you get to see what's there, you can see the commonalities of what's going on or whatever. It's all right there. And not a lot of, and I had not seen anyone else do it. And so that's why I do it, because it gives people a an ability to say, oh, so I'm not alone in that anymore. Because Rumble's not perfect either. I have stated many times, I will praise Rumble when it does well, and I will admonish it when it does poorly. And I'm not a platform loyalist by any measure. Sorry. If I'm gonna keep hearing people say Rumble doesn't owe you anything, or YouTube or whatever doesn't owe you anything, then why should I return that favor, if at all? Right? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm so loyal to this platform, even I'm being told they don't owe me anything. It's like, great. That just sounds like a losing toss up right there. What is this?
Rumble is America's Canadian stepchild. It's like, God, we're gonna adopt you guys. You're Canadian by birth, but you gotta prove yourself still. You still gotta do yourself.
We got Justin Bieber out of that deal, okay? Just calm yourself down. And many other Canadians.
You really want Justin Bieber?
Hey, we got Jim Carrey. We'll take Jim Carrey. All right, come on.
Mike Myers, John Candy. No, we can go through this list.
That's true. Yeah, that's a long list. The musicians, actors, all that sort of stuff. But I only know a few. But like that's why I do it, is so that people have something to look at and say, look, this is what some other people have been saying too, and it's been true to them. Why is this like? I'm not. Yeah, it's like I'm not that person. Way back in the day, sure, I might have been, but like going over the data and stuff, I just can't play that game for any platform. Like I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Well, and don't and celebrate the wins, sure. Call out what needs to be called out, but don't be like, don't give your stuff, don't give a platform all the power over your stuff, right? See it with YouTube, see it with Twitch, right? People just putting all their stuff in one place, and like that in today's content creation world, that is the dumbest thing you can do unless you're paid in a contract by them. That is the dumbest thing you do. And the reason, unless you technical exceptions, all this stuff, but the reason why I say that is because if I can point to YouTube, the king of platforms, I can point to Twitch, the big thing on live streaming, and I can see those things of people who've just put all their stuff on there, I can't feel sorry for you. Unless you can't, right? The exceptions, but like if you can be on more than one platform, and that's just one more, it's like I can't feel sorry for you if they come for you and they take all your stuff away. And this includes Rumble too. Like there's some spots for Rumble to kind of like, all right. But the majority point on content creation as a whole is if you put all your stuff in one place and they end up deleting you, that's on you. That's on you. And I can't feel sorry. Can't feel sorry. Dirty Dog says, I think Carney is living in Toronto now. Well, of course, why not? It's like the most it's like the most widely populated, I think. I don't know. It's lively. I don't know. It's widely known.
In terms of the biggest cities in North America, it's Mexico City, New York, LA, Toronto. Those are the four biggest cities in North America. So whether Carney's living here or not is frankly irrelevant. But don't get me started about Carney. I'd rather talk about the Justin Trudeau, Fidel Castro stuff.
Carney could be considered a carny in his own right because he's a carnival joke. And Dirty Dog says. Dirty Dog says, hey, we gave you John Campea. What more could you want? Well, all of it.
You know who John Campea is?
John Campea. Why do I feel like I've heard that name, but I can't?
So he's the guy who thinks he started the whole online movie space. Like the bloggist, like he's a Canadian who moved down to the States and started a blog in like the mid 2000s. And he got hired by AMC to do kind of like the sports center of movies, which it was called AMC Movie Talk. And it kind of started the whole movie talkosphere, everyone talking about that in kind of the early 2010s. We're talking 2012, 2013-ish. And then he started working for Collider for a bit, and then he just went full TDS nutbag. Where everything had to be viewed through that lens, right? Where everything he had to and he started criticizing his own audience, and it was just, as I said, obviously, I didn't bring it up, but Sir Dear Dog knows, like, it's a guy who a lot of the people who are in the space used to watch, and he just kind of went off the deep end. And there's a famous clip of him making fun of the people who were his fans or who did watch him, were his viewers, going, woke, woke, woke.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, he has a review of Transformers 2 still up online, where he says, he's talking about a couple of Transformer characters in that film, and he's saying hood N-bombs, hood N-bombs. And so he's a bit of a interesting character in this space at this point. Not to say he isn't knowledgeable, but he's certainly one of those guys that I feel has kind of lost his way and made everything about politics, or it has allowed politics to insert into culture. And I'm more of the Andrew Breitbart feeling, where politics is downstream from culture. So politics is just another thing with movies, music, film. It's all downstream from culture. So
yeah,
as long as you're just paying attention to where that stream starts, I think you're okay. But when you start getting too focused on a single, rock in the pond that's diverting things, that's when you get a bit lost. So, and I said, and the same thing I think goes for what you're talking about earlier with, getting too attached to any single social media, channel. Like, don't just be on TikTok, even though I despise TikTok. Don't just be on Instagram or YouTube, or you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you need to diversify, because not only is the audience everywhere, but you never know when that clamp is going to come down on what you have to think and believe, right? And you need to make sure that if that clamp comes down on you here, that you still have an avenue to get your voice out there.
Yeah. And it's just at least from my point of view, the nature, and I gotta correct myself, it was Jim Carrey, not Carney. The R look close together, and I mistake that. So thank you, Mr. Dog. But my thing is, like, I'm looking at the landscape of content creation. And look, I am not here to say I'm a professional. I just do the thing because I enjoy it. Like, you're not gonna find me like doing all the overlays and thumbnails and all the ridiculousness that goes into wanting to be a full-time creator. You want to do that, do it. Just go for it. I'm just here to do this thing because I find value in it, and I believe it has the value for the longevity of it. That's more of a guess, but like, I believe there's value in it, and I believe there's something more than just like, I know people will call it an interview. I understand. I'm not harping on those people, but my thought has always been, it's just been a conversational show to me. So like, an example, just to give an example, right, to kind of help clarify. So I don't know if have you ever remember watching the Craig Ferguson show?
Yep.
So when you watched him, you remember that he would have guests on, and mostly celebrities, right? Because I mean, it is what it is.
But with his rattlesnake mug that he was.
That's right. That's right. You know what Daddy likes. But no, it was just like, there was a point where he had a guest on, and he's given all these cards, right? He's given these blue deck of cards or whatever. And when the guest comes sit down, he tears them up and just flings them out. And I'm like, that's something right there. Like, that would always give me, because it was always more funny when he had women on rather than we had men on, but you still had fun with them. But I was like, you can do that? You can just tear up the cards that give you like whatever and just go like, that's so. And my other favorite show, of course, is Whose Line Is It Anyway? Because I liked watching that. And this is not like the UK version. This is more of like, the U.S. version. Of course, we had
that was filled with Canadian. It was filled with Canadians.
Colin Mockery is the only known Canadian I've seen on that show. I don't know if there was another one, but Colin Mockery.
He was the main Canadian, yes, of course.
Yeah, he was the Canadian. But those are kind of like the two things where improv is the main focus of it. But with improv, you can go anywhere. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. You're free to go anywhere. Hey, Fatal. Nice to see you, good sir. And of course, hello, Fury Stan. Nice to see you as well. But it was sort of that thing where it's like you're free to go anywhere.
And yes.
Or and then and that sort of stuff. But it's like you are free to go anywhere and you're only tied down by your imagination. And the other part of it too is like I would see, like, even before I did this thing, the conversational aspect, which is sort of like a process to get there as well. I would, be in other content creators, watching them and all the stuff, YouTube and all that. And it was most of the time, a majority of the time, they would have other people on who were either within what they liked or another content creator, right? And I'm not going to harp on them or whatever, saying bad or whatnot. It was sort of like, but it was very limiting. It was very limiting in those aspects. Like, you have people of 50,000, 100,000, even 10,000. You have all these people that follow them. Like, my thought was like, what if you could get like a quarter of those people on, right? The people that follow you on just to chat about whatever. Like, you're free to chat about anything. You can go anywhere. That improvness, right? And not a lot of people are able to do that. There is a bit of a challenge, or they're hesitant or nervous or whatever. But it's like, think about that. You have access to 1,000 people, take a quarter of that, and just think of the cover, whether they come on once or multiple times, the amount of possibilities that come from that is unlimited. It is unlimited. And I was like, why not try that? And again, over 365 guests times people who've come on multiple times on DaraChat, like Fatal's been on, Furious Stan has been on. Like, how could you pass up that opportunity? It is just so vast in that. It's like a candy store. Not to say people are candy. I don't want like a cannibal.
Cue back to the music video at the start. Right?
Oh yeah, Scrumdiddlyumptious. That's right. But it's like once I saw it, once I got into it, once I started doing it, it's like, this is freaking insane. And there are other people out there doing something similar too. Like, I know Third Railify and Gina have their own thing, but they do something similar or all that stuff. But like, to be able to have on people who are and aren't creators, people who believe they have something to say, and people who don't believe that at all, like, that is such an unlimited well. And I can go, other than like English speaking, right? Like the English speaking world, because my secondary language, not so good. No bueno. All right, you're not gonna see me speaking Hindu anytime soon. But just to be able to have the English speaking part, that is millions and millions of people and millions of perspectives and opportunities and all that stuff. And it boggles my mind. And and when I hear people, right, when I hear some content creators say, "Oh, it's hard to get a guest on," or I don't get anything back, whatever, I'm like, I have hard days, sure, but like, I put out there, and it's like with you, like, I just put out there. I mean, yes, I had that connection between Third Railify and Gina, but like, even then, it's like, you can still say no.
I'd heard of you long before I was part of Third Railify. Like, I had heard of your channel and seen you on different chats and stuff, and popping in here and there. And no, what I think you're doing is frankly invaluable. Like, it's not just the inviting a guest into your space. And you're right, it's not an interview. You're right, it is a conversation. And I think that's actually something that's not happening maybe nearly as much as people want. Or as people realize that they want. It's just that open, natural, one-on-one conversation. Like, I love the Railify, but you're always going to have Sean and Gina. Plus someone else, right? So it's always going to be, even if it was just a 3-person thing. When it's just a one-on-one, I think I do think there is a different vibe to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
exactly. There's a back and forth there. It's like playing a game of tennis or ping pong or paddle. You know what I mean? It's a back and forth, and so I think that it's something that is not severely lacking, but it's certainly lacking on not just Rumble, but on YouTube, on any platform of just having a natural conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's two guys who met at a bar who are sitting in a booth chatting. You know what I mean? Like two guys who have never met before, but have they have a shared interest maybe because they've seen this. They were at the same band. You know, they're watching the same band. So okay, so we sort of know each other over this. Okay, we're gonna chat, and then we're gonna chat about and then everyone's done that. Everyone who everyone's had random conversations one-on-one with someone they've never met before and they'll never meet again, but that have gone on for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. Right? You can be at a house party, you can be at a college event, you can be at a social mixer for a business. Like you're gonna meet people and you may never see them again, but you're gonna have a great conversation. And I think that the value of a great conversation has not gone the way of the dodo bird, but it's something that should be valued. Like it's something that nowadays people I think are hungry for, and that they want to see just people having a great conversation, talking about
literally
bullshit about the Alberta referendum, which was I didn't expect to come on here and talk about that tonight, but we're gonna talk about the Alberta referendum. Right, but as I said, it's like you're at a bar, or you're at a concert, or you're at a social event, and you just start talking to someone, and you have that genuine connection, and that genuine connection doesn't need to last your entire life. It doesn't need to be like, oh, I need to like talk to this person every day for the rest. No, but you can have a great conversation with someone, anyone in the world, but any topic for an hour or 2 hours, and I think you're right. That there is a space for that, and I think you were certainly cornering the market on that here on YouTube. So, yeah,
I don't know about that, but I am grateful for the kind words. It was just, it's that thing of like, not only is about. It's also about capturing the moment too, because I mean, you could just do that and not do a live stream, but I think people need to understand as well. It's like you get to see someone like yourself, or like Slidey Pie, or like Financial or Fatal, or so many other people who are
Waffle Meat the other day.
Waffle Meat, Waffle Meat was great. That guy is awesome. He's a food item, but I don't really.
He's got a big ass brain. He's a smart motherfucker.
Yeah, he's certainly got the brains, but it was just sort of the thing. It was like I don't care. I think in some parts of content creation, people care about status, and that's understandable because it's nice to talk to someone big, or at least that you respect as big, and be able to see if that helps you or not. Like I've talked to people who might be considered big, or at least to some regard. I don't know, just in that regard of could be considered big, but I don't see that because we all, we're not going to go in a gold coffin. I'm sorry to tell you, we've got two ways of how this goes, and it's either dust in the wind or 6 feet under. And I know that's kind of like a downturn, but it's the ultimate finality of this play, right? I always go back to I had to find it, but I always go back to that. What is it? All the world's a stage. Let me see if I can't find it because I did save it.
Like a raising tide raises all ships kind of thing, right? It's the more you work together in that sense, where it's like if you're talking to people who are below you, like I have no content out. I have 100 followers on Rumble, but you're willing to give me the time of day. It's not that you're going to necessarily it's you're giving anyone that time of day, so it raises everyone up in the end, right? I was happy to bring over a couple of guys from the film thread. You know what I mean? Like it's just that little bit. It's that inch by inch. You raise each other up in a sense.
It's a little light in a sort of weird, twisted world. So we'll screw it up world. We'll leave it at that. But it's just about being able to capture those moments, and then to kind of give an example, right? I had gentleman on. His name is D-Pad Chad, and he's pay it forward streams. He's been on a few pay it forward streams, been at Rumble Squared and DaraChat and all stuff. But unfortunately, he had passed the day after Christmas last year. And obviously, you can go watch his streams. You can see the games he played and all that stuff, definitely. But you come on here and you get to see him as he is, Christian. The struggles and all the stuff. He was, I believe, during the time while he was still alive, he was working security, all that. He's in the creative program, I believe, at the time, or at least the beginning parts, and you can just get to see him. Right, you just get to see him as it is, because if my belief is, if you give people the space, and sometimes you have to be the person that pushes the conversation, not in a mean way. It's just like whether they're nervous or they don't know what to say or they're just kind of like a deer in headlights. It's more of a challenge for me, but it's a good challenge because then I get quicker. Then I get better. Like your mind, it's like the dwarves, the 7 dwarves. You're in a mine and you're digging for the jewels and stuff. Well, now I get faster at finding them. Those conversational bits, but it's having that ability for it to be there, and people can come across and say, wow, that guy, his perspective is a little similar to mine, and that is the quintessential moment of why I also do it, because we all have a different perspective. We all have grown up in different environments where you're Canadian, American, all this stuff, but we still have some similarities of how politics, social, food, all this sort of thing, the taste, and some that can be movies and all stuff. There are similarities, there are some differences, but by coming to that point where you can have disagreements, you can have arguments, but when you can walk away from each other as not like blowing off an atomic bomb, basically, you basically have this set point which becomes so much more, that is so much more, but can be so much more to others down the road. Right? Who is AD Ellis or Ellis? Who is the guy who is Canadian and does all this stuff? What is he really like? What are his thoughts? What does he think about the stupid people in politics or whatever? What does he think about all these things? You get it. Right there, distilled right in front of you on the screen. That is AD Ellis. And that's it. And people can take away or give on that factor, because there's a bit of a problem with us as human beings. We have people of great reverence who have said great things, right? Take MLK, right? Take things that MLK. But there are times where people take what he says and they take him for themselves, and he's no longer here to clarify those things, right? Did he actually mean what people are inferencing upon that matter, right? We can't ask him anymore. He's gone. He's long gone. But got a VOD here. Guy says something, and he's pretty much clarified within that setting of his perspective. Like, that is what I think. Now, things change over time. We're human beings. We change. New stuff comes in. We change our thought process and all that stuff. But you still get to see the person as they is. And the question becomes less of what did they mean, and I did not know that.
Oh, 100%.
To me, that's more powerful than people taking quotes or whatever and putting their own meanings to it, and it may not be what they're putting their meaning to it.
Yeah, you get a snapshot of a person in time.
Yeah.
Right.
And you didn't used to have that before.
No, you used to have it, and as you were saying, whether it be MLK or any say philosophy of the past, and you're right, you're just getting quotes. But I think over time, context can be lost because you're looking at it through a modern lens. You're looking at it through a different lens, a biased lens.
Yes.
I think when you're seeing someone say things face to face, especially when they're confronted with another face, like, you know what I mean, when we're actually having to say it to someone else, I think you're seeing a lot more true. I hate the word your truth, my truth. No, there is only one truth, but you are seeing that person's words, that person's meaning come out in a truthful way, in a sense that, if I'm typing something out, I can go back, I can even if I'm doing a text or I'm doing a comment on YouTube, or if I'm doing whatever it is, I can go back. I can correct spelling mistakes. I can go back. I can correct the grammar of it. But when you're doing this kind of interaction, no, you're seeing as pure a form of a person as nowadays you can get. That is being shared to a mass audience. So
yeah. And it allows people to, in some way, maybe find you, but also, man, even if you're long gone, your stuff is still, well, based upon if the platforms allow it. I mean, let's be honest, there's that too. But through any grace of time and space, like if it's allowed to continue and people have to see, you can be unequivocal in how you say your thing. It's like, oh, so that's what he meant. And there's no room left. I mean, there may be some vagueness you can leave, but like there's no room left for people to mistake what you said, because again, we have that problem where we can't go back to the people like MLK and others, and they've said what they've said, but they can't give fuller context because they're long gone on that matter.
Well, I think you look at a person like Charlie Kirk, who passed away obviously last year. MLK had, I think there's about like 70 or 60 hours of recorded MLK like notes and speeches and all this stuff. There's 4,000 plus hours of Charlie Kirk stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's so much, and you're still seeing clips come up on your shorts or on your feeds or whatever it is today of Charlie Kirk having a debate, and it may have been a 2-minute debate that they can still clip in contact, or they can still clip, and you're able to, you're right. Maybe you got like MLK who had a few speeches that were recorded and fewer things actually that were filmed. But with a guy like Charlie, you can really see the breadth of his opinion. Because you have so many hours of things you can go back to. Even if it's a 2-minute debate he had with a college kid on campus, you know what I mean? But you can see that full 2-minute debate. Or you can see that the full hour and a half that he was debating kids on campus. Or you can see a collection of the whole things he did that weekend. Or you can see a whole collection, you know what I mean? Like it just keeps broadening out in terms of the amount of stuff that you can add to, whether you agree or disagree with what he had to say, you can actually form an opinion far better on the human being and what he had to say, because there was that breadth of content out there. Whereas an MLK, I think we hold on to a few great speeches and a few great clips. No, that was a product of its time, right? It's no fault of his own.
Yeah.
But I think what you're seeing is, nowadays there's no excuse. Whereas if you have something to say, there are the avenues there to have your voice be heard, right? So,
and be clear.
And this is one avenue of that. And your own content can be that. You speaking to people can be like nowadays the whole like, oh, I'm going to be taken out of context can't really exist, because especially for a guy, like I said, like a Charlie Kirk, agree or disagree with what he believed in, but you can go back and you can see full context of what he believed in. Right?
Yeah.
So I think, it takes time and effort to do that, but I think that's something that we're in a very fortunate time right now to be able to do, is that,
and even if someone takes some of those clips and takes that out of context, someone else can go and say, well, you took a small bite but out of a larger scale. And that's the thing right there too, even especially with like, stuff like community notes on Twitter X, whatever, like you can now go find fuller context on those remarks. But that's partly how I see it. And I've done panel shows, I've seen panel shows, and my thing is like, while there can be great hosts who know how to handle it or great guests, whatever, but my problem is when and people love chaos. I get it. My people love the chaos. But when you lose the ability for someone, hey, I'm over here, I want to say something, or I'm trying to say something, and they say something, and someone just runs right in and says something over them, and then they're like, the whole what they were trying to say is either they try to remember, try to pick up, or it's long gone. It's like, that hospitality I want to extend to people because I want people to get their full thought out. Now, a lot of people know some people are talkers. Not gonna put that down, and some people are not talkers. But at the end of the day, that's on me to that's on me to know how to deal with that. My guest is just here to be themselves. That's it. That is so easy on any scale that almost anyone could do it, and that's the point. Because if you can't have that type of open space where almost anyone would do it, and the hospitality is there for them to say their full thought, I don't know what to call that. It is a world of content creation that I am so foreign to, even though I in this instance consider myself a content creator. Even for me, I still see content creation as this vast landscape that I am just roaming through it.
No, I think as you said, like it's when you go on a group show, it's a different vibe. It's a completely different format. It's a different context. You're right. Like you're holding your tongue. Oh, the next guy's going, or the one-on-one thing is it's rare. It reminds me almost like the Johnny Carson days. You brought up, Craig Ferguson. That kind of talk show host and their guest kind of thing, where you actually get to. That was a bit. Obviously, there was a scriptedness to that, but it was still one-on-one, right? It was still, especially in the more Carson days, where you had people who were able to kind of just riff off the top of their heads, or you had comedians who had just done their set who got asked over to the couch. They weren't expecting to get asked over, right? That was the big deal in the Carson days. You got asked over to the couch. I think the one-on-one conversations are so rare. It's one thing if it's a co-host and a host, or you know what I mean, like if it's Sean and Gina, right? Because they're always chatting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're always bringing in new voices, right? And I think that's the thing that nowadays is just it's not only rare, but I think it needs to be valued more in the sense that you're always talking to new people. You're always trying to bring in a new voice. You're never you're never trying to retread the same steps you did a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Oh, this guy popped off 2 weeks ago. I'm going to have him back on. You're always trying to give a platform to a new person to spread their voice, spread their beliefs, spread their nonsense sometimes, whatever it is. I know for me, it's probably more, for me, it's nonsense. It's,
Yeah. It's all over. It's all over. It's basically what it is.
But I think that one-on-one thing it is so rare nowadays, especially in the online space. As I said, it's that random conversation in a bar with that guy you've never met before, where you're bonding over the music that you listen to, or the whoever is there, or the beer that you're both drinking, whatever it is. There's that initial thing that bonds you, and then you guys have a long conversation about whatever. It doesn't even matter what it is. And I think that's the thing that's actually going away in nowadays culture, because people are going out to the bars less. People are socializing less, even when they do go out to the bars. You know what I mean? They'll stay within their cliques. They'll stay within their friend groups. They're not going to be as open to talk to other people. I think that idea of just, hey, I want to talk to someone. I don't know what we're going to talk about. When we came on here, it wasn't like I a few weeks ago I was like, should I get these kind of topics ready? And you were like, we're just going to talk.
Yeah.
We'll just chat. Who cares?
Yeah.
If I had known we were going to be talking about Alberta separation, I would have been like, I would have fucking done a bit of studying up and gotten some more things. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just like, let's just chat. And those are honestly, in a lot of times, when you think back to your 20s and your 30s of going out, and you talk to that random person in a club or a bar or at a party or whatever it was, that was the most fun part of the night. That was the most fulfilling part of the night. Be like, I spent an hour there talking with a random guy about a random subject.
Yeah.
This actually meant something.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that person again, but you know what I mean? Like, it just like that stimulating intellectual conversation actually fulfilled me more than any sort of beer or drugs or anything else could. Because I actually met someone who was for that moment on the same plane of existence. And we were able to kind of, not to be gay, but touch chips. and find something to get along about.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's so rare nowadays. It is increasingly rare.
It is a I mean, I'm guilty of myself from going out and to like a restaurant or whatever and just sticking to my phone out. But it is quintessentially powerful because of the act of just being able to be there and nothing is expected of you. I mean, other than you being there, which I guess is an expectation, and having a mic, obviously, for this moment. But when you can come to the table as you are, nothing is expected of you. You're not expected. Sometimes people ask, like, "Can I curse?" Whatever, and I say, "Go for it." I don't care. Even if I'm on YouTube, I don't care because it's not about the platform. It is about the individual and the moment that gets shared with it. And again, when you can do that, like you said, when you can do that, it is just a powerful thing in its own right because when you can't and there's a danger to it too, right? If you can't expect what's going to be said, but if you can't expect what's going to be said, you are free. You're free.
Almost if you're in a bar nowadays, there is a walls up component to it.
Oh yeah,
right?
I can see that. Yeah.
How is this person? Are they going to be a crazy leftist? Are they going to be super up? Crazy on this subject where they don't want to talk, whatever it is. Whereas, at least this platform, it's as you were saying, let's talk about anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's arms wide open. It's fucking Creed, baby. We're just like it's anything you want, anything you want to chat about, and I think, as I said, it's rare to find that online nowadays. It's nice to find that in the places that you do.
Yeah,
I think those are spaces you got to really kind of cultivate and support and all that. So
yeah, and that's where a point where I came to like the realization, like beyond the scope of like all the points of content creation of what you got to do or this or that or whatever. I mean, you can leave it as a hobby as is, and that's fine. But all those conflating points, and I'm like, without those as directing points, whatever, I am free. And the realization of that is so powerful to me because I do have a full-time job, so I don't rely on the Sunday monetary, although I'm always appreciative. But when you're free enough not to worry about, and I'm not talking like Rumble's a platform sort of thing, but like you could be on any platform and you can be free to discuss in the matter of commentary, whatever. When you are free enough to be able to go down that road and you're not tied to like, oh, I've got to meet this metric, I've got to meet this thing or that thing or whatever in order to become the whatever it is. When you can say that remark of I am free and go from that, it's speechless. For me, it's speechless because there's nothing beyond that point. Nothing beyond that point.
Nothing more American than freedom, for being honest. Like actual freedom, when you actually, you said, feel spiritually, you feel speech wise, you in any way you feel free. Like that's becoming increasingly rare.
And Olo says precisely nothing against those who do it. True. Same with me, for a living. But Tism, for instance, had full-time jobs and Tism, is that a band? Had a full-time job.
Get Olo started talking about Tism. It's his favorite band.
Oh goodness.
I'll be right back. Those World Cup beers are going through me right now.
yeah, I remember that. But Olo says, first, I see nothing against those who do it for a living, but Tism, for instance, had full-time jobs and weren't trying to be a successful band, which helped them do whatever they wanted. Yes, and honestly, I mean, even with a full-time job, there is that kind of constraint too. But like, you have to look at it this way: when you are free to create, or when you're free to be able to just put out there, right? The tools are out there. They're free tools, paid tools, whatever. But when you're free to put out there, when you are able to be the rawness with maybe a side of, refinement to it, it's like watching the stars in a it's like being out in a place where there's no light pollution, and you're seeing the breadth of stars for the first time, and your wonderment just explodes because you're right there at that very moment, and you're just like, where have I been all my life with this? It's in that nature. And Dirty Dog
when you
says,
see the Milky Way for the first time.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
and
when you
that's when,
literally see that band of stars across the sky, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?"
yeah, it's crazy. And Dirty Dog says to Olo, Canadians say I could, Americans say I couldn't know BS. Funny because it's Canadians that are always using contractions. Hey, I use contractions too, so don't throw me under the bus. It's like it's like those French have a different word for everything. Sacre bleu. Or as Olo says, or as one of the guys in it told me, my name dropping, which I already knew, of course. You have to go from imitating to finding your voice. Yeah, like imitating is, imitating, or I know people do impressions, but like imitating, or at least trying to emulating, as I'd like to call it, like an accent, whatever. The fun is that you're not tied to like, yeah, sure, maybe someone might get offended, but you're listening to how someone says something.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, sorry,
sorry.
sorry.
You go that far, but like there's a joy in being free in that regard, just to have fun with it. And yeah, you gotta have a little fun with it too, because obviously you could have like the more, what was it, like Ben Stein or whatever, he had the voice. Well, Bueller,
Bueller.
Bueller, Bueller, yeah. He's not here. He's sick. Steven. Steven.
You know what's crazy? So Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
He was with Mia Sara in that film, right? It was him and Sloane, Ferris and Sloane.
Mm.
That whole time he was actually banging his sister. He was banging Jennifer Grey.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Ferris was banging his sister, man.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And Olo says kids start out learning everything by imitating. Yeah, they imitate their parents. That's why they say, parents keep an eye on your kids, because what they see you do or say is something they will try to absorb, because they don't know beyond this. So it's not a new slate. It's a new slate that's trying to find, how does this world work? It's like bringing new players in the game, and all you're given is nothing, and you're learning from the players already there.
There's a deep joke in that comment. I'm just gonna leave on the sideline. But kids start out by learning everything they like by everything. Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty much.
Yeah. No. Certain ones do. That's for sure.
Oh goodness. And Olo says, what I thought was great, his friend Cameron, did I remember his name right, is the a-hole teacher who gets killed in the Vince Vaughn horror comedy Freaky. Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's something. That's crazy though. I'm not a horror fan. Just get off everything. I'm not a horror fan, but I have watched some horror movies. But I'm very particular. I'm not into the gory stuff. It's just, ugh.
You would actually probably like. Olo's not a big gory horror fan, at least from what I've followed, but he likes these Christopher Landon films, and he did Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day 2, and Freaky.
Oh,
I'm not sure if you've ever seen Happy Death Day, but it's essentially a college girl going through Groundhog Day, like the Bill, sorry, the like the day that repeats, Groundhog Day.
Oh yeah, Groundhog Day.
But she keeps getting killed by the same person. She has to kind of figure out who the killer is.
Yeah.
But it's more kind of like a comedy.
Yeah.
It's like a horror comedy. Yeah. And then the second one is you find out why the Groundhog Day is all stuff that stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost more like a sci-fi comedy for the second one.
Yeah.
And so Freaky, she says by Vince Vaughn, Freaky was the third kind of film, sort of in that franchise, but not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where the girl that the killer kills, they switch bodies.
Oh.
So like Freaky Friday style.
Yeah. Freaky Friday.
So like it inverses. So Vince Vaughn, who is the killer, ends up taking the body of the girl he's about to kill and inverses. So they're actually they're interesting films. They are.
That's great. It tends to be classic, unique to the Thing, Return of the Living Dead. Yeah, I know like that kind of stuff, but like it's just like when you get to stuff like Jason, whatever, or it's just the gore. The gore almost feels unnecessary, but like that's just me. People like all that sort of stuff. But anyway, it is way past the hour. Before we do the promotion thing, I did want to bring up because I did have it saved is the
we went long tonight. We went long tonight.
Yeah, it's but I do.
Thank you for that. Thank you for indulging me.
Yeah.
In my nonsense.
Thank you for being part of it. No, don't worry about it. Thank you for being on. But I did want to read this before we start heading on our way out. This is from whatever the play is. I believe the play is from It's As You Like It. Spoken by Jock, and it's a section of that. But this is the one. So people only do like the first part, all the first 2 lines, and that's it. But there's so much more. And when I read it for the first time in its full context, like that is pretty much the life of man itself. But like so for here it goes. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages at first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel, and shining morning face creeping like a snail. Unwilling to school, and then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad, made to his mistress' eyebrow, then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth, and then the justice, in fair round belly, with good Captain Lind, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6 age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved a world too wide, for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again toward childish treble pipes, and whistles in his sound, last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. And after reading that, it is basically in the full ADF. It basically in the full of it is speaking on man's life. In that one point out of a whole play that most people just know 2 lines to, the whole thing goes through the life of man and woman through it. And it's just it's poetic beauty in a way that it doesn't rhyme whatever, but it's like it speaks to that life of it in such a short space. And in essence, that's what life is like. It's that short space right there, from the beginning to where we play our parts throughout the whole of it until the very end, where everything goes. And that's life. Let's see. Slood, I remember how long ago you said you were wrapping up. Yes, I know. I apologize. upvoting and following. Well, thank you. Much appreciated for that. Much appreciated. Oh, I have to grant you on more than that because of an incident from my high school days, which I'll share some other time. Yeah, we'll get to that another day. Just remember,
you got to interview Olo. You got to interview Olo. That's the next guy you got to go after.
There's plenty of time left in August, and I'll get there. He's calling me a spiritual. If you had been out of here hours ago, yeah, there's a time I know I have to, because I have work in the morning, so I have to get set, not only done, but setting up for tomorrow's stream as well. So I've gotten to the point where it takes me about 30 to 45 minutes to get set up for the next stream. So it won't take me too long, but it feels like a marathon. So there you go. I might do TISM next. TISM as a combination of pre-recorded and streaming. Well, there you go, right there. But again, that is.
I was gonna say one more thing before.
Sure.
For a final outgoing poem or post, have you ever done the St. Crispin's Day speech from Henry V by Shakespeare?
I've not heard of that one. How does that go?
Look up the St. Crispin's Day speech. Henry V. Crispin. CRISPIN Day speech. Shakespeare.
State speech. I have to spell that right. St. Crispin's Day speech, known as the St. Crispin's Day, is a famous monologue from William Shakespeare's history. Well, I gotta find it, to be honest. Let's see. Maybe Wikipedia will have it. What's the full? Well, that's a long one. But I'll show what came up.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Let's see. We'll quickly go through that.
I'm not saying for now. Save it for another day. Save it for another day.
We got a quick one. The Westland Moor. Oh, that we now had here, but when 10,000 of those men in England that do no work today, the king, what's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss, and if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. It's not rhyming. I'm going to have trouble. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No faith, my coz, wish not a man from England God's peace. I would not lose so great an honor, as one man more methinks would share for me, for the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more, rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host. That he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart, his passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us, that this day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes home safe will stand a tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors, and say, tomorrow is St. Crispian, and then he will strip his sleeve and show his scars, and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and a gentleman in England now abed shall think themselves a curs they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whiles any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. That's a long one, but no, that's pretty good. That was pretty good. It's very. I think I've heard. I swear I think I've heard at least some bits of those pieces in like a movie or something. Not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kenneth Branagh's Henry V film.
Hmm.
It's one of like the all-time speeches. It's like up there with like the One More Inch with Al Pacino and
Oh yeah.
Any Given Sunday. Like it's one of those like rousing speeches where it just like you leave it and you're like, fuck yeah.
Or the Dogs of War. Was it Release the Dogs of War? I can't remember. But beyond that, St. Crispian's speech from Blackadder. Oh, okay. I've heard of Blackadder. That's with Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry, I believe.
And Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, that's right. Or Rowan Atkinson, for those who don't know. But anyway, to quickly get through, let's see. I gotta go back up to where. Nope, we skipped that. I skipped. There we go. There's your links, good sir. Promote yourself as thee would like to. That's right.
Yeah. Feel free to pop by on Mondays over on the Third Railify channel with Sean, Gina, Darnell, and myself. And feel free to pop over to Film Threat or the Das Thief channels in the chats where me and the other guy I'm going to promote, Ololiqui.
I just call him Olo.
Yes,
Olo for short.
Where he is also, and check out his channel. And as I said, thank you for having me on.
Of course.
I really do appreciate it. It's been a fantastic 2.5 hours here, and I never thought I'd actually get interviewed because I'm not sure what I did to get interviewed, but you were very kind to reach out to me, and I'm happy we can make it work tonight. So, sadly, England didn't win the game, but you know what? This was the best part of my day.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just came on yourself, and that's enough. It's always enough, because after that, there's the world beyond the eyes, the inner world. Sorry, and pronouncing guides on my B-side channel. Yeah, just keep. I'll look at it later, Olo. Not tonight. Not tonight, Olo. I think he froze. Oh no, he's moving a little bit. Okay, you're just. I can't tell if you're froze or not because you're starting to look blurry. I don't know if it's the internet. But anyway, his link will be both on the Rumble side and YouTube side. So if you want to know where else he's at, well, bing, bang, boom. There you go. And thank you for that. Of course, there again, whether you're on the Rumble side, YouTube side, or any of the places I'm streaming to, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment, or follow, anything to helps the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only is helping being seen more, it also helps in having other people on, like Ellis, or like Alaska Man Jeff, who's from Alaska, or so many other people. Again, over 365 various guests just having conversations about whatever, because that's what it's all about. If I were to interview, I need to dress nicer, and to be honest, it's not going to go well. So anyway, any help with the engagement factor on any of the places, YouTube, Rumble, whatever, is much appreciated. Of course, if you want to know where those places are, well, guess what? There's a link right there. Hey, how do you do? You can find all my stuff. I do Blaze, Kick, all that gloriousness. But if you want to find all the stuff is in the one link made to gather them all, and on the web bind them. That's right. Making a Lord of the Rings reference right there. But again, all stuff is in that link right there. And of course, quickly going through, I promote Proton in so many facets. This is Proton VPN. Funny enough, I'm streaming right now while using Proton VPN. So if you've ever been worried, maybe you get a little better on the paid version, but make a free account, try it out for yourself. I just promote it for the benefit of others, not for myself, because I don't care about getting anything in return. I just care about putting a tool in your hands that I use and trust, and they're about human privacy as a right and all that stuff. Give it a whirl. If it doesn't work for you, well, guess what? All sorts of tools out there, but it will be there if you do decide to try it again. So thank you all so much. Of course, Biltong USA. I won't say too much other than glad to know Anton and glad to buy their product and glad to support a American-made business in Sunset, Texas, folks. In Sunset, Texas, you can go and visit and all that stuff. And I bet you anything you may enjoy what they have, because if it don't melt in your hands, it'll melt in your mouth. And that might be a joke, but I'm gonna stick away from. I'm gonna pull away. I'm gonna pull away from. I'm gonna pull out of that one right now. So.
That's what she said.
Hey, anyway, you can go there. There's a link right there, and you can use code DARA, DARA, to save yourself some 10% off, because it's a 4-letter word you can't say and should be saying, because some of you have dirty mouths, and while some of you are nicer than others, those dirty mouths they need a cleaning. Oh my goodness! But anyway, let's see. As Ellen says on film, let's get out of here. Well, that leads to the Back to the Future stuff. And here is Dirty Dog doing it. Ololique. Ololique. There we go. That's how it's pronounced, I think. Oh. All right. Well, good night to you, Dirty Dog. Anyway, tomorrow. Gosh dang it. Get my calendar. Tomorrow is Thursday, and tomorrow I get to have Liara on. She's a VTuber who I met through my Pay It Forward stream. For those who don't know, my Pay It Forward stream is where I go around and Rumble. I do stream to my other places while I do it, but I go around Rumble. I show the love. I give some donos and stuff, because there's two factors to it, like time or money. And while I could spend 10-15 minutes in someone's chat, there's a lot more people to get through, and I'd rather get to more people than, I do stay a bit if they notice, but if they don't notice, well, hey, I stopped by, I said hello, on to the next person. So that's what I do. But that with Liara, that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So come by for that and see us do our thing. No, goodness sake. Gosh dang it. Getting pop-ups. We'll have to use a Weird Al close but no cigar reacting to someone. There you go. It's close. He says it's close. So it's not Oliloque. It's more like whatever. So that'll be up to him to put it up, though. But again,
Oliloque.
There you go. Just call it that. But thank you to all those in chat for being here, whether you came at the beginning or middle or whatever part you came into. Know that you are appreciated, and I'm glad you could be here for the conversation. Of course, a big shout out to the big man himself, ADE, as they call him, the aide.
Mr. AIDS, baby.
Mr. Aid is in the chat. But no, thank you so much, sir, for coming along. Thank you for saying yes. No, you're always welcome to come back, because there's always more to talk about. Let's be honest. We could. I know you had mentioned FIFA earlier. It's like that's. It's like you wanted to talk about it, and then we getting off the other stuff. I was like, son of a bitch, I didn't get to talk about my FIFA.
we're probably better off we didn't talk about FIFA. So let's be serious.
Well, again, it always lends itself to another time, because there's always more to talk about. But like I said, you're always welcome to come back, good sir. So thank you for being here. And of course, I end the show with a song. Now, I used to end it with doing another song from Pogo, but this is a music video of sorts using a song I created through Suno, but it's my words from a poem from a long while back, and it is called A Moment to a Lifetime. So thank you for being here. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern with Liara. I think that's how it's pronounced. I might get in trouble, but anyway, see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the night, and take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Give me a moment, and I will make a life. come true, to come true and be reality. So what do you wish? What is your desired reality? In truth, maybe not much. In truth, maybe it is. Only you can weave the dreams of wanting reality to form, and then, only then, will you create it. Give me a moment, just a single spark. Watch it catch and carry through the dark. Beyond what you can see, beyond what you can name. Every dream you're holding is a quiet flame. The world will tell you wait, the world will tell you no, but the river moves for those who let it flow. 'Cause reality is a dreaming way to come true, to come true and be reality.